Hello, welcome to Raymond Castile's Basement of Horror. Last week we showed you some King Kong toys. That was part one of our King Kong and Godzilla episode. And we'll follow that up with part two, looking at Godzilla toys in a few days. But first, I wanted to cleanse the palate with something unrelated to King Kong or Godzilla. Now, you'll remember, it seems like only a few months ago, but I think it's been 2 years. In our first season, we looked at these sofubi vinyl figures from Unbox Industries depicting characters by John Kenn Mortensen. John Kenn Mortensen. And we talked about who he was in that episode and gave some biographical information. But he's known for his macabre illustrations that he draws on yellow Post-it notes. So on these little Post-it pads, he draws these very macabre, creepy illustrations of various monsters from his imagination. And Unbox Industries has teamed up with him to bring some of those creatures to life. So they have this continuing series of vinyl monsters based on his work. And we've got 3 witches, we've got the nameless beast, and we have the vampires. 3 adult vampires and 1 child vampire. And they're all very, very creepy. So now today we have a new one. Now this one is a little different. This is called the Many Headed Hag by John Kenn Mortensen. The Many Headed Hag. And none of those came in a box. This is the first one to be sold in a box. Let's look at the artwork for this box. And you can see the Many-Headed Hag right there. That's what she looks like. She's kind of a ghost. She floats. Let's see here. It's made in China. Produced by Unbox Industries, designed by John Kenn Mortensen. Not a lot of information on it. Anyway, we open it up. And there she is inside. Now, ordinarily I don't open things, but because all these are loose, I want to look at her the same way. So I don't display these, but if I were going to display them like this, or if I were going to put them on a shelf permanently, I would have her, I wouldn't have this box sitting there. I would have her out of the box with her friends. So if they had all been sold in boxes, then maybe it'd be different. But I don't know why with her they decided to go with a box. She's the first one that they've put in a box. I think it's because she's got a stand, and the other ones don't have stands. So I'm trying to figure out what is the best way to open this box. We're going to do it from the bottom. And it looks like it was meant to be opened from the bottom. Okay, let's flip her over. I've got a lot of cat hair on here because, as you might have seen, Billy was on the table a minute ago. Okay, let's pull her out. There's no note or anything in there. I'll get back to that later. Okay. She's in a little sarcophagus there. That's interesting. She's already on her stand. I thought you had to put her on the stand. Sounds like she's on trial. Put her on the stand. Huh. Okay. Oh, it all just comes right off. Boy, this is odd, isn't it? So it's screwed in there. It's got a screw, but the stand itself, it doesn't go straight up. How weird. Like the, I don't know if it's supposed to be that way, but the shaft is crooked. I suspect it's supposed to look like that. It's a little wobbly. I think if I were going to display it, I'd probably tighten that up. Well, she is unusual. All right, well. So there she is. She's very different from the other ones. You see she's got... I hope... we had all kinds of trouble with the focus in the King Kong episode. I hope that it works better with this episode. You can see she's almost... I don't know. She's definitely ghostly. She's translucent. And when this video is over, I'm going to tighten up this rod and take a screwdriver, tighten it up, and see how that does. So she's got a head back there. More heads. She's got tongues sticking out. A lot of weird stuff. And then there's all kinds of detail I probably won't even notice until I look at the video. You see how she's dangling. And here's, you see what I'm talking about. It's the shaft is not at a right angle. It doesn't go straight up. And I don't know if that's supposed to be like that, or is that a problem? It feels a little insubstantial, frankly. It feels a little, the whole thing is kind of wobbly. But it doesn't look like anything's broken. I'm kind of discovering this along with you, so I have not opened this up. She was packaged like this. And she's pretty stable that way. Now, these come in many different colors. So this is not the first release of this hag. She was released in black. And this is the second release. And I bought this one because the color scheme most closely matched these creatures. So all of these have been released in multiple color schemes. So this one, all the ones I bought come in red and blue. This is the nameless beast. So all of the ones I bought are these red and blue colors. So she, even though she's translucent, she's still red and blue. So that's why I thought she matched the other ones that I have. Now they might come out with one that's a bolder red and blue like these, but I think this is supposed to be the one that goes with this color scheme. Because she's kind of a ghost, so she's transparent. So she's not going to be as opaque and bold as the rest of them. She's supposed to be some kind of a ghost or a specter floating. And it's very odd. I mean, they certainly could have found a way to make this thing stand on its own, but it was very important that they capture this ghostly, this apparition style floating above the ground like this. That it was important to capture that. So they made her like this, and they made her very translucent, much more so than the other ones. They're all translucent, but she's very pale, not a lot of color. So she looks like an apparition. She looks like something that's just kind of wispy and floating around. But she's also physical. She's got these tongues and these faces, these skull-like faces. So this is the first time I've seen this. It is squeezable. It's soft. So this is the first time I've I've seen it. So I don't know what to make of it. It's got some writing. Let's just look at that. That's what it says on the bottom of the base. Huh. She's an unusual one. Now, as of this recording, you can still get her. You can still obtain this from Unbox Industries. It has not sold out. The earlier black one sold out, but this translucent red and blue one has not. It's still available. And I'm recording this on the night of April 1st. But this is not April Fool's joke. These other ones are all sold out. And they're averaging about $100 each. So, yeah, she was $100. I mean, do you get your money's worth? I don't know about that. It kind of is what it is. You either want it or you don't. Yeah, I don't know that you get $100 worth with this. I don't know. Now I think he was $100. I don't know why, but he seems more. He's darker, but he seems more substantial. But I don't think there's any less artistry involved in this than this. If anything, it's probably more artistry involved in creating that. And it's heavier. She's different. She's definitely different. She's the odd one of the bunch. And I haven't laid eyes on her until just now when I took her out of the box. So I didn't know what to expect. She is unusual. And you really need to have her on a flat surface or she'll probably fall over. I'm just wondering about this shaft, if it's... is it really supposed to be at an angle like that? And I guess it is, because if the way it is, if it were straight up, these points would really have to bend. They'd be bent. They're already kind of bent, but I think they're supposed to be bent. But they'd have to be bent in a much more unnatural way. And I think it could be the pressure from these points that kind of bend the shaft this way. I don't know. I don't know why there's a little notch cut into this. Trying to understand what I'm looking at. Why is there a notch on the base? This is what I'm talking about. See, there's a little let's get this on here. There, you can see it. There's a little notch on the base right there. See this notch? I'm wondering what that's for. So it's an unusual toy. This is certainly one of the more unusual things I'm showing you this season. I don't know what else to say about it. It's not, there's no posability, but then there's no posability on any of these. Nothing is posable on any of these. They're just for display. So I think I'll put her back, but I am going to investigate that stand a little bit and make sure everything's okay with that stand. I don't know what else they're going to put out in this collection. Don't know what their plan is. I think it's interesting that this one hasn't sold out, because the rest of them very easily sold out. They didn't. It's kind of odd that this one hasn't. So it could indicate that maybe this is running its course. Maybe they ought to ease up a bit before they put more out. There she is back in her sarcophagus. Let me see how she fits in there. Everything looks like it's in order. There she is, back in her tomb. She's encased. I don't have much more to say. It's an odd one in this collection. It's kind of the odd one out. I don't know where they're going with this set. He's made some really giant monsters in these drawings, like giant caterpillar kind of creatures and things. Maybe that's the next step, some kind of a gigantic serpentine thing. That would be different. But I hope they don't get too carried away, and I hope they don't put something out that's just ridiculously expensive, so that people who have been following it the whole time and collecting them from the beginning don't end up having to fork over hundreds of dollars or $1,000 on some insane super deluxe figure, or else be faced with an incomplete set. I think this Many Headed Hag is about as experimental as they ought to get. Speaking as a customer and a collector of these things, it's cool for a one-off kind of a deal, but I wouldn't want them to go further in that direction. I think the pattern they established with these creatures, this kind of sculpture designed that way. I think that's good. I like that. I like. I'd like to have if they continue to make more characters, more in that vein, more in that style. When they start having weird things that are stuck to a stand and kind of different format, then it starts to look off. It doesn't really go with the rest of it. One is okay. You can always have one that's the odd one of the bunch. But if they start if everyone is different from the rest, then it's no longer a cohesive set. So I don't know where they're going with future ones, future additions to this collection. He's made some really weird creatures, and he's made some, if they do it all in scale, he's made some big, gigantic monsters that would be, this big. They might go there. Who knows? Who knows what they're going to do? And he draws people interacting, mostly children, interacting with these monsters. So maybe they could do some humans, some non-monsters that could, like, scared children, scared humans to be in this world interacting with these creatures. Okay, so that's it. Like I said, I just wanted to have a little palate cleanser between King Kong and Godzilla. So in the next episode, we'll be back with part 2 of King Kong and Godzilla toys, and we'll look at Godzilla toys made for the U.S. market from 1960s through the 1980s. And I have been notified that my Mego Son of Frankenstein and Wolfman figures are in the mail on their way. That package is on its way to me. So we'll have the Godzilla one in a few days or a week or so. And then we'll have Son of Frankenstein and Wolfman Mego after that. And then we'll have the final episode of the season. And then we'll be off for a few months. Now, we'll still do the occasional episode, like when Mego puts out their Hammer, Van Helsing, and Reptile figures, which have been announced. We'll cover those. We'll come back and do a review of those. And if other things like that come along, like Super 7, I don't know what's going on with their next wave of Universal monsters. It seems something seems to have gone wrong there, but I don't know. Maybe they'll get them out later this year. So we would have an episode on that and stuff like that. And I'm sure I'll find some special topics for some special episodes over the summer. I don't know what they'll be, but I'll think of something. So since we're going to have between seasons and a regular schedule, the only way for you to really know when we have a new episode is to subscribe. So you need to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell so you'll be notified. Oh, I hate saying ring the bell. Click the bell, because it doesn't ring. It's just an icon. You click it, okay, it doesn't ring. Click the bell, and then you'll be notified when new episodes are uploaded. So do that. Subscribe. And also join the Basement of Horror Facebook group. We have a Facebook group. So join the Facebook group. There will be things that I'll upload to the Facebook group that I won't upload to YouTube. So after the season's done, for instance, if Mego, when they put out that flocked fly, I'm not going to come back and do an episode on the flocked fly. But I might do something just for the Facebook group and upload it there. So that's where you would see stuff like that. I'll have some content that's just for the Facebook group between seasons. So you'll want to see that. And also, it's just good. There's good people there. You want to be part of that group. It's there's no drama. If if any drama erupts, I will cut it off. It's just good natured, good, wholesome, clean monster fun. And I aim to keep it that way. So go to the Facebook group, Basement of Horror. The link is below. Also, my documentary In Love with Toys is up for a Rondo Award. So please vote for In Love with Toys for the Best Documentary Rondo Award. And the link is below on how to go to the Rondo Awards and vote. You have to email your vote. So please do that. Please vote for In Love with Toys. Okay, that's it. I think that takes care of everything. A bit of an unusual topic, I know. It was a little weird, but that's good. I want to give you some variety. So, and hopefully in the future we'll have even more variety on this program. Thank you very much. Remember, the one who dies with the most toys is